Hello and welcome to Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, joined as always by Stat Pat, stateless patriot of the Central Valley. We are California lefties talking to you about national politics as well as California politics, and it is a special night for California politics, the 2026 primaries. And we
Yep.
have a special guest with us tonight to celebrate this
Yes.
special occasion, the one and only Nick, secular lefty. How are you, my man?
Howdy, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Doing
Yeah,
Of
okay.
you're
How are
very
you
course.
guys?
welcome.
Good. Honestly, not very. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm really hoping for the best. I do hope that if anything, Steyer advances. Um, the polls are all jumbled right now. We are reluctantly supporting Tom Steyer. We're hoping that either he and Hilton advances or him and Becerra advances. But if it comes down to
I
Becerra
just
and
I'm
Hilton,
based on polls. I'm just hoping Steyer advances.
hmm
I've mentally prepared myself earlier today for him to lose, and
It
yeah,
seems Steyer is
For Becerra to become the next governor of California, which is going to be devastating.
right. Becerra is basically the corporate dem favorite, the favorite of the big money donors and whatnot. Just an empty suit, just a blank slab, for big money to get whatever they want, and
Nick,
you know
what's your read on this race so far, going into it as like an outside observer?
so. I mean, I hear the same lefty circles that you guys do, and excuse me, but it seems Steyer is gaining he has the traction of the left wing, a good
hmm
portion of the liberal centrist. He has some broad appeal, but it's as you said, it's him versus Becerra. Becerra has the corporate back, the establishment backing, and so it's a strange race with the optics, given you have the billionaire candidate being the favorites of the political base that is anti-billionaire. But
hmm
Mm-hmm.
so it's a question, as with any politician. Okay, they have their rhetoric, but do they believe what they say? Are they actually going to pursue the policies that they're fighting for? And as I follow congressional races, it's a little clearer with the policies I want to see the legislators take. With
Right.
governor races, it's a little more difficult with what their policies are that they're fighting for. I know
Mm-hmm.
one thing in left circles with Steyer is universal health care in California
Yep.
at the state level, and I
Right. Single
understand
payer.
that
yeah.
um, California would be one of the best states to pursue it. They have the best economy that they could
Right.
probably manage that on their own. So it'd be nice to see. It'd be better to see at the national level, of course. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have enough people in there, but again, California, 52 seats in the House. Guys have
hmm
like 12% or so of the total, people in the House. So a lot of
hmm
seats, a lot of leverage in California, and a lot of decisions that will be made by the people, not necessarily the people elected tonight, but the people moving on to their general elections. And that's a very cool thing with California is you guys have a top two primary system, and,
Yeah.
hmm
and
How do
it's
you
something
feel
that I
about
like.
that? How do you feel about that system? The top
It
two advance, the jungle primary.
If I were to have my perfect election reform system going into a jungle primary, whether it be a top two, top four, or I would even go as far as top five. What I like about that style of primary is it actually puts all the political parties against each other. You have to actually, the voters get a chance to actually hear all the ideas on one stage at a time. And I would even go further because that would be the election process, but I would want the win condition to not to be determined through ranked choice voting. So you have a jungle primary, but with ranked choice voting, and then there becomes the question: well, how many candidates do you have running? And so like the governor's race, ridiculous 60 some odd candidates running. I
Yeah.
don't think. No, we should be more realistic about it. Have a cap. Is it 20 candidates, 30 candidates? Maybe it's like 30 candidates for governor, 20 candidates for a house seat, something like that. But the idea is then, because people will then argue closed. Shouldn't the primaries have control over their own process of who to nominate? And that I don't disagree with. So okay then. So you have a three-part process. You have like the parties determine their one or two candidates that go into the primary to represent their party, and then that way, if you have like people in the Working Families Party or DSA or some other third party or independent. Maybe they don't make that Democratic or Republican ticket. Okay,
Right.
there's still 8 other spots or however many that they can then run and actually make third parties legitimate and
Mhm.
competitive.
Right, and then add ranked choice voting to the mix, and it gets a bit more, I guess, democratic, for lack of a better term. Because yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
I
exactly what
say
you're
just
saying.
I'd just counter with the just to simplify what you just said. Well, in my own perfect scenario with the jungle primary system, I like that only two advance because it forces someone to have the majority
Mm.
when they get elected. Um, and I think that matters when someone comes into office. If they had a majority of votes, then they're a lot more powerful than if they didn't. But leading up to that, I think it would be ranked choice voting for 5 political parties. That would be probably the way to go if we could have a perfect system. But we're a ways away from ranked choice voting on a national level.
And a lot of other much higher priorities that need to be tackled first than election reform. I mean, it's necessary getting money out of politics and tackling that's important, and also, but again, just helping the needs is the most people. So Medicare for all, universal programs, even arguing for universal basic income, which you hear a couple of people say it, but not enough.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact alone that when I filled out my ballot last night, there was like 50, 60 something names just on the section for governor. It was absolutely insane. Like I had to go through it for a while before I finally found Tom Steyer's name. I mean, a jungle primary. I mean, it, I think if it did have to change, it should be a bit more like when you vote for the Democratic candidate for president. Um, whereas uh, someone with a plurality of the vote, they end up getting to advance. I mean, it's but just like you said, like every party should be involved. I think if there was actually, I mean, put aside campaign finance reform and the fact that you need to get over like a certain threshold of the vote to even get federal funding. I think it's like 5%. So that way, like parties like the Green Party and even the Libertarian Party become actual viable parties. But that's just a long way off right now.
Definitely, and it's a shame too because there's one of my biggest frustrations that I observe through. I try not to spend too much time on social media. I like to have a life and do things,
Yeah, me
but
too.
occasionally forced to do it through research and whatever other things. But the point is, you see people in their bubbles, whether it's conservative MAGA dipshits that are in a cult, but then you have liberals as well that still aren't understanding how we got to where we are and won't address the things we
Y-
need to do to fix things. And
Yeah,
it's frustrating just not seeing them
yeah,
reconcile those facts. But I mean, it makes sense for anyone that understands liberal centrist politicians. They're not in this to better lives. They're not in there for policy. It's an economic means to an end for them. It's their system that enriches them, enriches the corporations, enriches the consultants, and back and forth that money goes. And we're not going to see Medicare for all as long as a majority of Congress members continue winning that are backed by the health insurance companies. We're not going to see an end to the foreign wars as long
no,
as
exactly.
you go down the list.
I mean, that's my thing, and that's like been the most frustrating aspect of the entire primary so far, at the very least. Is the fact that like the median voter just really cannot be counted on for jack shit because their priorities are so generally out of whack, and like they're just voting based on vibes. Like you're telling me that you would rather vote for a corporate backed goon who is taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in lobbyist money and whatnot because he seems nicer than the guy who is spending uh a whole bunch of his own money on attack ads and whatnot. He just seems nicer, even though he doesn't have the policy platform. He doesn't have positions that would actually help you as a person. Like these Democrats that actively vote against their own interests. Just because of vibes, just because of their own ineptitude and illiteracy, they're not exactly
I think it's
engaged.
laziness.
Yeah, I mean exactly. It's just
I
like
think it's just pure. I think it's pure like people
they
don't
just accept it.
take their citizenship seriously in this country.
No,
We don't teach civic obligation at an early age here, and instead we have the Pledge of Allegiance, but we don't have the civic education that leads people to the conclusion that I need to vote. Not I should vote, but I need to vote, especially if you're educated.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
it's more important too that they're critically thinking.
yeah,
We don't teach our people to critically think. We don't teach them to think through things. And yes, there's a large portion of laziness to it, but there's also people are being worked. It's part of the system. People are too tired and not able to
yep.
have the time to put into who's running in my local district, who's running for state treasurer or whatever other down ballot, and it's difficult to balance because I don't want to be part of a group of people that berates the voters out there because to some degree it's not their fault. The system is working against them and they're just too tired to do anything about it. But on the other hand, we're also here because we collectively have allowed ourselves to get here. And I think 2016 was one of the major turning points where so much damage could have been avoided
hmm
had we had a more educated populace.
Yeah.
yeah,
So many states with closed primaries, for example, independents, people who are unaffiliated. Yes, I understand you don't want to be part of the Democratic Party, but by you not participating in the system, you're giving up your vote, your voice, and you're just allowing the same people that create the problems to continue getting reelected when there are good people on the ballot. So many people will just dismiss like, oh, there's nothing we can do. We can't improve anything. I'm not going to participate. Well,
The
assholes.
nihilism.
It,
Yeah.
it, the it's death by nihilism, and it's frustrating because I get it. So many times as I over this past year just following the primary elections. So I live in Pennsylvania. We just had our election back on May 19th. In the first district, I was hopeful and supporting of Lucia Simonelli, who was running in the first district, but she wasn't the corporate back candidate. She wasn't the party establishment back candidate. And one thing too that happens is you have voters who don't pay attention to who's running, well, just that they're not paying attention to who's running, and so when they go up to vote, one thing in Pennsylvania, and wherever else throughout the country, most times you'll be asked if you want a sample ballot, and they'll be printed out by either the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, whichever party you're with. But
yeah.
when you get these sample ballots, they won't list every candidate that's on the ballot. If sometimes the Democratic Party, and that's what happened in Pennsylvania's first district. I took their sample ballot and it just had their candidate on it. Lucia was not on their sample ballot, and to the average voter who's doesn't know, who's running, haven't even heard Lucia's name, and well, they're handed that piece of paper, and they never will. They look at that and go, "Well, this is what the Democratic Party is telling me to vote for. There's this other name on the ballot, but they're not approved," and they just go with what the Democratic Party tells them, and that's how
Yeah,
we end up in the same problem.
yeah. It's just a mindless acceptance and just nothing beyond that. And that's I think I see that. I mean, I've been seeing that play out exactly like right now, like with this governor's race
Yep.
in California. It's just people blindly going like, oh, Tio Becerra, why not? He's got experience, and apparently that matters above anything. It matters above
Mhm.
actual policies and his history and who's giving him money.
What about his
He,
debate performance too? Like,
yeah,
is a
and that doesn't
complete
even
joke,
seem to,
and his
that doesn't
media
even
presence is a joke. Like, there's nothing special about him. There's
no.
nothing like, yeah, this guy deserves to run or is capable of running and would do a good job running the biggest economy in the country. Like, are you kidding me?
No,
You know?
like we really want 6 fucking years of this guy, or we like what? Why? Like this is, it's the billionaire's favorite guy, and like since when did it's just so backwards.
Well,
I
what the
mean,
thing is good that we're going to learn if Becerra gets elected is we're going to have to deal with the ignorance on the left because
yeah,
it is only by way of ignorance that you vote for Becerra over Tom Steyer. And by the way, two things, three things. One is the polls don't close until 8 our time, secular Nick. So we're
hmm
probably not going to be getting the results. We'll just start getting results in like an hour. So
hmm
that's so. And the second thing is based on what I saw is the results will probably not be tallied tonight. It's probably going to take at least a day, maybe a couple days. Some one article I saw said even weeks. Um, but
that'd be
uh,
insane.
There are some.
the other thing is well, real quick, the on the ballot itself. This is the foreboding sign for me. I open up my ballot, and who's the first name that's listed? Javier Becerra.
Of course,
Hmm.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
have to find. I had to. It took me more than a minute to find Tom Steyer's name.
How is
yeah.
the with so many candidates? Do you know what their process is for how they list the candidates on the ballot? If they even have
It's
a
supposed to be
process?
I think it's supposed to be random,
Okay.
but I don't. You know, he has his last name begins with a B, so I thought maybe it was alphabetical, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
There
no, it
was
wasn't.
I would think
yeah.
alphabetical would be the fairest, just to make it
Right.
No,
simple. But
it gives the people with the A names
yeah,
unfair advantage.
so
Right.
just do it
Yeah.
through a
Yeah.
randomizer.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's so odd that Javier Becerra's name just happened to be the very first name on the ballot,
I would
regardless.
have to
So,
assume it helps, and if you have
Oh,
eight plus people
without a
on the
doubt.
ballot.
if you have yeah, we have 60. There's like 60 nominees for governor or something.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I
So
don't
we
know.
got
I don't
some.
know what the actual statistic or if there's been a study on it, but yes.
So thank you, Latina Mafune, for joining us. We haven't gotten any results on the West Coast yet because the polls don't close for another hour. So I'm sure there will be surprises, but we don't know what they're going to be yet, obviously. And then Cat Q, thank you for joining us. Thoughts on the LA race? Okay, so I have an interesting opinion on LA. Like, because I lived there for 10 years, and I actually like LA. I defend LA. It's a great town. There's a lot of special things about it that only exist in either LA or New York, like, for example, stand up comedy and stuff like that. Theater,
hmm
excellent theater.
Yeah.
But Karen Bass is a fucking disgrace
Right.
and has no business continuing to serve as mayor of LA after just what happened with the fires in Malibu. And then she fired the police chief trying to clean it up. I mean, and the resuscitation of that area, my understanding, is not going well at all. So, and not that that's the most important thing, but it was the biggest fuck up. And when you make a mistake of that proportion, it should cost you your job. But apparently, the Mithra is her name, the third nominee, because you got Pratt as the Republican, and then
hmm
this other woman running as a progressive for the Democratic side of the ticket. She just didn't have the name recognition. Karen Bass's coalition is really loyal, I guess. But this is the incumbency is a huge problem. Money in politics is the biggest problem, like in terms of just the system and the kinds of people it puts into positions of power. The money's the biggest problem, but the second biggest problem is the incumbency
Yes. Yeah.
and the advantage that the incumbency has. And that now you're back again though to campaign financing because it should be a more accessible process to run for office. And it's
Right.
not. You need to. I mean, I was told that running to defeat the incumbent, who's been there for 10 years, in my congressional district, would cost $4 million.
Oof.
God, nuh-uh.
And the one thing is, I mean, you're sure you can have some insurgency campaigns out there that they put in the work, they get the a volunteer network going, they can come close, but it still takes some resources. You got to have some money to have some campaign staff, preferably
Yeah.
an office somewhere, and because without any of those basic foundations, you're not going to have a successful campaign. It doesn't matter how good your policy page is and how many tweets you send out. If you don't have a ground game, you don't have an infrastructure.
You know,
You're just a name.
one tool though that I am shocked is not being used more is video. I don't know how
I'm not familiar with that. What
these
is that?
no video. Just
Just video in
yeah,
general.
just
Okay.
just like going on to their website and seeing them explain their policy positions in videos
So in general,
as
like
opposed
taking
to
advantage
written
of YouTube,
text.
then.
Yeah, but as opposed to written text, which is just not as intimate of a medium. Like it's just like you get to hear the voice, you get to see the face, you get to hear the inflection, what's really important. I mean, it's the next best thing to having a conversation with someone in a room, with them in person.
It depends on the type of candidate. So great candidates will do everything you just said, but then you have the candidates then fall into one of two categories. Are they, on the best case scenario, are they just decent people that are bad at campaigning, don't know how to put themselves out there and message in a confident way? Or worst case scenario, they're not doing it on purpose because they're people vague, courting donors, not actually trying to be a public servant representing the
Right.
people of their district.
Right. Right.
So when you see candidates with campaigns that don't have a policy message, and when you look at a lot of incumbents' pages, they don't even bother. They just go off, well, I'm in Congress, I raised money for the party, continue electing me. And for the party, that's good enough. For the people, we're struggling. Nothing has changed, and for what has changed, it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah. No,
The real quick, we should cat cute. I want to keep rewarding her for commenting. Spencer Pratt's the ultimate douchebag, and it's funny to see him back in the media because I remember when he was on that reality show was when I was super young, and yeah, Latino Mafune, he is the reality show villain. He was one of the OG reality show villains along with Omarosa. um, but yeah, no, Spencer Pratt's a piece of shit human being, and I do think that it's annoying that like he got out front. One of the things that the other woman running for mayor of LA could have done was go on the attack more with Karen Bass, but Spencer Pratt beat her to it, you know. So anyway, yeah, Spencer Pratt. I heard the situation is thinking about running for New Jersey governor now. Like
no.
I don't know if you know,
The situation,
you
really?
guys know who the situation is.
Jersey Shore? Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
from the Jersey Shore.
So
Yeah,
this country is just evolving into idiocracy. This is horrible.
No
it's already
kidding.
it's been here
Yeah.
for a while. It's been here
Good
for a
point.
Yeah.
while. I mean,
Fair point.
we haven't invested in public schools in like 40 years or something, like before Reagan.
You see, it's
And
sad
that's
though, because with Trump, I mean, it's right wingers. It is what it is. He had that show. Like a lot of people reference, The Apprentice was a stupid show. I didn't watch it, but my parents watched it. Plenty of people watched it, and they'll reference
I
that
watched it.
when they say with why do you like Trump? Oh, I saw him on The Apprentice.
Right.
But with the Jersey Shore guy, really? Like
Yeah.
what political appeal is there? I don't understand, but yeah,
I
that's
mean,
my
Well,
fellow
that's
Americans.
the thing, though. Like, unfortunately, like with way too many of the electorate, way too many voters, it just, I mean, political appeal is not even like a primary motivating factor. It's not even political appeal in general is just like not in enough voters' minds at all. Because if it were, then they wouldn't be voting for people like Javier Becerra. They wouldn't be supporting people like Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer, or for fuck's sake, Nancy Pelosi wouldn't have won so many of her congressional races in San Francisco's district. And that's one of the most progressive cities in the fucking country. But not enough people go beyond just the aesthetic or the familiar faces. Because experience somehow matters more than uh, policy and shit.
Well, a
It's
lot
beyond
of times
ridiculous.
the experience can indicate that someone sucks. I mean, in the case of Javier Becerra, it
Yeah.
should demonstrate that the guy's been in the system since 1990
Hmm.
and has done very little. And the stuff that he has touched has gone to shit in a
Hmm.
lot of ways. So, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just little tweaks around the edges, maybe like a couple crumbs here and there, but for the majority of the time, he's enriching himself and everybody who props up his campaigns, everybody who gives him massive lumps of cash, all his rich buddies and whatnot, because that's ultimately, I mean, there are even studies on it for people who get into Congress or Senate or what have you. It doesn't even matter because it really does genuinely, truly apply across the board. When legislation gets passed, the overwhelming majority of the time, that legislation benefits the ultra wealthy over the working poor. It benefits the wealthiest 1% of people uh, the majority of the time in comparison to what it does for the working class.
The only time we see bipartisanship
Hmm.
bipartisanship for wars, for
yeah.
bailouts for the rich,
Yep.
nothing else.
Yep. Yep.
We,
Yep. Yep.
we could see it for
Tax cuts
we
and
could see it for campaign finance.
maybe.
And I think you could flip a lot of younger rural millennials. I always like to say it just sounds good to say the rural millennial might be the key to the demographic problem that is presented before the left right now. And because if we delivered on like just healthcare, for example, we took that burden off of people's back and got the big win, and then like holy shit, I don't need to pay so much in insurance premiums anymore.
Yeah.
Um, then I mean that right away you'd convert voters. If you did debt relief, which I'm a big believer in, and it's not something that gets talked about really at all. I really haven't heard anybody else talk about debt relief, but it's the best way to actually redistribute wealth
Yeah.
is to start with debt relief. And then you can get into writing people direct checks. Everybody wants a fucking check. And like that's cool. I want a check too. But in terms of alleviating public pain, large sweeping acts of debt relief is the best way to get the monkey off of people's back, whether it be medical debt, student loan debt, or the biggest one, consumer credit card debt.
Yeah. And that especially is going to become a lot more important as this administration carries on what it's doing economically and the big beautiful bill um, starts doing more and more damage as more time goes on with it uh, in place. Well, you see a lot of data, lots of the statistics right now. More and more people are going into debt just to buy groceries,
Yes.
and gas prices are still going to go up. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We're going to like by July, we're going to see reserves of oil and gas empty. And it like if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, because that's 20% of the world's oil and gas supply right there. There's no replacing that. So that just means that there's just 20% less gas and oil around the world, and the countries more uh, I guess, closer proximity to that region are obviously going to be hit the hardest. But we're going to see, unless something changes like immediately, $7 or $8 gas in California. I firmly believe that. Like, there's like no question about it at this point,
And it's a
and
terrible
that's
downward spiral because gas goes up, everything else goes up,
exactly,
and we don't
and
have the administration that really, well,
gives a
as
fuck.
Trump said himself,
Yeah.
He's not concerned with the Americans' affordability issues right now.
Exactly. He doesn't think about it at all. He says, and it's just going to get like it's been lingering in the back of my mind, and like it's like I don't even know if it's even if it's even possible to consider it as sensationalist or hyperbole, but it's going to get really fucking bad really fucking soon. Not a lot of people are really aware of it, because the entire economy is just one gigantic casino right now. Everybody's gambling. I mean, for like, look at the insider trading that's going on right now, and they're literally like
Ridiculous.
pumping and dumping on the war right now. Oh, like, oh, we got a deal. Oh, there's no deal after all. Oh, look, the strait's open again. Oh, it's actually not. Meanwhile, a small handful of people are winning $1 million bets off of like that market manipulation, and it's been pervasive since the war started. And
All right, so
um,
I was wondering if he was
crazy.
going to make it. We have another special guest tonight. Please welcome Gavin from the Vanguard.
No
What's up, my man?
kidding.
Oh, awesome.
What's up,
What's
guys?
up,
How's it
Gavin?
going?
Hello.
Howdy,
Hey,
howdy.
what's up? Stateless.
There has
Yeah.
never been more star power on my YouTube channel than there is right now.
That's crazy. I was not. Dieter, you didn't tell me about this at all. This is quite a surprise.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if he was going to make it, but so Gavin, just to give you an update, the polls don't close until 8, and I did, so that's like less than an hour from now, and the results might take days, if not weeks, to actually compile. So we're not going to be getting any results. Like by the time you do your show tomorrow, there might not even be results.
Damn. Yeah. Well, that's why Zach and I didn't go live tonight. Originally, we were planning on doing a live stream tonight to look at the results as they came in. We were going to have you on, Dieter, to give some California perspective. But yeah, we decided not to go live because we didn't want to be up all night. But either way, and I'm probably not even going to be able to stick around on this stream until the polls close, to be honest. I'm pretty tired. Had a long day. But yeah, super excited to be here. Really appreciate you guys' show. Really loved your video, Dieter, about the California primary. And ultimately, I'm really interested in who you guys predict wins this thing, or at least which two candidates make it into the runoff.
So the biggest thing, the biggest sign that makes me depressed, I was telling the guys before you got on, was I open up my ballot, right? And the easiest name to see, first one in the upper left corner right there, Javier Becerra. And then I looked for Tom Steyer's name. Took me more than a minute to find Tom Steyer's name because it wasn't alphabetical. Damn. It was random.
Oh,
random.
And the fact that like there's literally like 50 or 60 different candidates running for governor, so you had a whole slew of fucking names to go through before you can actually find Tom Steyer's name.
That's crazy. Also, sorry, my microphone wasn't originally plugged in. It probably sounded like absolute shit when I first started talking.
It was fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got my actual mic going now, but that is crazy about the 50 candidates on the ballot running for governor. That makes it even more embarrassing, frankly, that Butch Ware wasn't able to actually get on the fucking ballot. I'm like, all these rando people on there, and you're like being like.
And he had a team, dude. He had a team working for him. He had a whole team.
I still couldn't get enough signatures.
Yeah, no, that's so fucking embarrassing. It's pissed me off so much seeing some of these left-wing virtue signalers be like, "Oh, you got to vote." Sorry if any of you guys are Butch Ware fans. I'm not sure about you, Nick, or
not really.
Stateless Patriot, but I mean, obviously, I appreciate the Green Party when they try to push the Overton window to the left and stuff. But I just think this guy's such a fucking joker. It's so obvious that he's an unserious candidate. He announced that he was going to run for this when he was still the fucking running mate of Kamala Harris, or not Kamala Harris, fucking Jill Stein.
Right.
You know, back
Vice president. Right.
Yeah, in the most recent election cycle, he was like, after we lose this race, I'm gonna, run for California governor and lose that too. And it's just like,
goodness, and that just ruins their brand too.
Like, but do you know his story? Like, I don't even know how he got so well connected to get into this position, but he's just a sociology professor at a university in the central coast of California, right? In like a really white part of California, and and brown part of California, very Latino in this area,
Yeah, I'm sure he's a decent teacher. Like, I don't have anything against fucking teachers.
Right.
I wish more normal people ran for office and stuff. But he just seems like a fucking grifter. He seems like the way he's just constantly attacked left wingers. Like I remember when he was shitting all over Mehdi Hassan and like calling Mehdi a rat and like calling him a all this kind of saying he was like.
Well, that doesn't make no
genocide.
sense if you're going to call yourself a left winger and you're attacking Mehdi Hassan. The
Yeah,
fuck do
Mehdi,
you think
you-
you're doing?
Yeah,
That's
like
stupid.
come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Or like these quote unquote lefties who are attacking like actual democratic socialists just because they use I guess language that's more in line with like the establishment. They're more soft language, but their position is literally the exact same as these leftists and whatnot. It's like, oh, you're not saying this exact same thing as I am about Israel or whatever. Therefore,
Yeah.
you can't be trusted. You're a fucking traitor. You might as well be a fucking Republican. Just ridiculous shit. You know,
People with
I
no
can't take it
nuance.
yeah, absolutely not. Like
Yeah.
nuance
Well,
is not in their
they're-
vocabulary
I mean,
at all.
But behaviorally, what it is they're looking for an excuse to dismiss people because they're so used to
Exact-
being disappointed. Everyone's
Exactly.
so
They're all
fucking
cynics.
jaded. Everyone's so fucking jaded, and and just expects failure. They
Well, if I
expect
could
disappointment.
just throw something out there real quick.
Yeah.
Because so with today's elections, it's more than just California. New Jersey voted
Jersey,
today,
right.
a few other states. But I want to just throw out New Jersey because their results are in. And Adam, is it Adam, right? Yeah, Adam Hamaway running in New Jersey's 12th district. No, I don't think he is a democratic socialist, but he's pretty much espousing all their policies. I forget if he was. No, he wasn't. I don't think he's not DSA backed, not like a local or anything. But he had Our Revolution backed. Basically, he had the full left wing party support behind him, and so he won his primary, and he'll be joining Annalisa Mejia in the 11th district of New Jersey. She won her reelection, and so two good representatives out of New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like the rest of the incumbents pretty much won their reelections.
Gotcha.
Although LaMonica McGyver, I don't know much about her voting record, but she seems, from the minimal research I've done, she seems like a decent politician. Doesn't take APAC money, so I can say with certainty out of so was that New Jersey has 12 districts in total. They have 3 good representatives that represent the people. So
Hell yeah.
we're making progress, getting
Hell yeah.
gains.
Either way, I heard Dieter. You said that Becerra. You think he's going to probably come out on top, maybe because he was like first on the ballot, super
Yeah.
easy to see. Do you guys agree, Nick and Stateless Patriot? Do you think that it's going to be fucking Javier Becerra and
Steve Hilton.
Steve Hilton? Do you think do you guys all agree that they're going to be the top 2?
I'm just
hoping
managing
for-
to be clear, I'm managing expectations. Like, I hate Becerra so much and want Steyer so bad at this point, just because there's such a stark contrast. Not because Steyer is amazing,
Right.
But he's got the right positions.
At least he's saying
And-
the right shit.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I'm just managing. I'm expecting disappointment, like I was just talking about.
No, yeah, same here. But I mean, I was texting Dieter earlier today, like, dude, I hope Steyer at least advances. Like it could be, because it could be like him and Becerra. That's a possibility. But when it comes to if it did come down to Hilton and Becerra advancing, I straight up told Dieter, like, I'm going to add like just like the angriest fucking rant. I'm just going to go off. I mean, the thing is, like, we're probably not going to like get the actual results by the end of the show tonight, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, who knows?
No.
But
No,
if Steyer at least advances, like, I'm totally gonna live the fuck out.
Yeah.
at the very least, you know.
Same. I mean, I certainly hope he wins. What about you, though, Nick? Do you think that it's going to be Hilton and Becerra?
So I don't know too much about Hilton's positions, both their policy and where they are in the polling. But as far as Steyer goes, again, I'm in agreement. He has the right policies, so hopefully he makes the top 2. It's just curious with 60 candidates running, how many people are, where are the rest of those votes going to fall? And, you're going to have, like, I'm imagining the breakdown. It's going to be 4 or 5 people that probably break double digits, but no one probably getting over 25% of the vote, or I'd be shocked if anyone gets over 25% of the vote, unless there's more consolidation than I'm anticipating around certain candidates.
Another
Yeah.
thing that's like especially frustrating is the progressive vote. You know, the progressive vote, like what's I guess marginally considered to be progressive. It's being split again because Katie
Mm.
Porter is still on the ballot, and
And she
you
hasn't
know,
seemed to have gotten much excitement around her campaign.
she's been like hovering around like 8 or 9%. When it's like if she, because she's got a gigantic ego, I think that it's kind of plain to see. But if she actually gave a fuck
She would have
about the
endorsed
state,
Steyer.
yeah, she would have
Mm.
dropped out and like
Could
endorsed
have made a
him.
deal. Could have made
Another
a deal
candidate not
easily.
caring about policy or
Yes.
advancing the cause. It's narcissists and their ego,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
disappointing.
and that's what makes Steyer like the more preferable progressive candidate, because Katie Porter does really like more so than Steyer by a fucking long shot. It seems like she's just in there for herself.
Right.
You know, it's like when like 'cause this isn't her first rodeo either. She went against when she was running, I guess, for what was it, for the Senate? I think she was
Yeah.
running against both Barbara Lee and
Yep.
Adam Schiff, and she split the fucking progressive
Mhm.
vote again. And now we have fucking Adam Schiff for a senator.
Yeah.
Guys,
No, and it also just proves like how much her stock has fallen as a quote unquote
Yeah.
progressive. Because
Yep.
I remember when she was in Congress, people talked about her like she was, the next Elizabeth Warren, or like she was actually someone that had serious progressive credentials. And the fact that she's allowed a fucking billionaire to take that lane from her in this election, it's like, damn, sis, like you really have fallen far. No one likes you. Like literally no one likes you, because it seems like 5 years ago all the progressives would have gotten behind her instead of Steyer, but she was a complete
Right.
non-entity in this election, just a total fucking flop.
Yeah, and she didn't make herself look good at during the debate either. And I watched you cover on the Vanguard. I watched you guys cover that, and she just embarrassed herself.
Yeah.
And so now we might end up with Becerra as the fucking next California governor, and that's the most frustrating thing. Is like we're gonna have this guy for fucking 6 years.
It's a 6-year term.
I think
No.
governor is 6 years.
No,
Isn't
it's
it?
back to back. No, it's back to back 4-year terms. You can't run for a third. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, because Newsom was elected 8 years ago when I was in Lake Tahoe teaching skiing. Yeah.
Does California have any recall mechanisms if they don't like their governor after?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they
certain
did that.
actions?
That's how Schwarzenegger became governor.
Okay, that's
Didn't they try to do that to Newsom too when he had to beat Larry Elder?
There was a vote for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
wasn't
tried
that
to
what that
recall
was?
him. Yeah.
But he obviously, he survived it. Newsom is such a disappointment. I don't need to talk about him, but he's just like. By the way, you should have. I don't know if you made this point on your show, Gavin, but rest assured, it will not be Newsom or Kamala for the nominee. Maybe Kamala, but probably neither, because you can't peak this early in the process. Whoever peaks this early almost never gets the nomination for president. So I'm not.
I hear that,
too
but
nervous
I
about it.
also would remind you that in the last Democratic primary, Joe Biden was number one in the polls basically the entire time. Everyone said what you just said, and then he won. So
Yeah,
I've
but
learned
that
not
was
to-
because that was because of some sketchy bullshit
that
with
they're going to do
Obama
again.
consolidating.
That they're
Yeah,
going to
that's
do
a fair
again.
point.
If it comes
That's
down
a
to
fair
AOC
point.
and Gavin Newsom, then you can expect all
They're
the
gonna
fucking
pull strings. Yeah.
Yep, they're all going
I
to drop
would-
out and endorse Newsom. So I hope you're
wouldn't
right
doubt it,
about
yeah.
that. But I do think it's wise not to underestimate Newsom, even though I totally agree with your analysis of him. I do think that he's what a lot of Democrat and liberal voters are looking for, which is just like your average politician man who they think can win. Like, oh, this guy is charismatic and competent, and he's good on TV, and he looks like a president, and he can win against MAGA, and AOC can't. That's what we're going to hear a ton of.
But I'm hoping
Yeah.
we have more
Electability.
voters now who
Not looking
know to
forward to
demand
that.
better. It's not just about, like Gavin Newsom. I was talking about social media earlier, and like the liberals on Blue Sky, just the praise that they throw on Gavin Newsom when he does a post against Donald Trump, and it's just like, This is the lowest form of nothing.
Yes.
Like what
It's such a low
this
bar.
is what excites you?
And it's not even him actually running his Twitter account either. It's like some
That's the worst
actual
part. Someone
lady.
else probably
That's the
doing it
Yeah.
too.
It's just like, go Gavin Newsom, go. It's like that's not even him.
Yeah.
Like, come
Well,
on.
I
Meanwhile,
mean,
you guys
it's-
got ICE in the streets, terrorizing your communities, and allowing his police forces to work with ICE. Same thing in Michigan and New Jersey and everywhere else. And like a lot of these governors that are trying to position themselves in a good place for the presidential 2028 run. It's I no governor inspires me anymore. Like not even Pritzker in Illinois.
I mean, Tim Walz let everyone down when he was like fucking, being mealy mouthed. And I love Tim Walz, but I was like, come on, bro, you got to fight a little bit harder than this. But they don't want to start the fucking civil war. That's the thing. They don't
That's
wanna,
the fine line.
state.
They're the balance.
They're too obsessed with they're too preoccupied with playing nice. They don't want to get on anybody's bad side. They don't want to hurt any feelings.
But here's the problem: because once November rolls around, what are they going to do when ICE is at the polling booths? That is not ruled out.
Right. Yeah. Even if they're doing so illegally, it's just like, I mean, so what are you going to do at that point? Because at that point it's going to be too late. Even if they are violating the law and intimidating voters and whatnot,
Right.
like how exactly are you going to approach something like as drastic as that? If you're not showing any spine right now, it just shows distrust in your ability to fucking lead.
Yeah, totally.
So if I were running for office right now, I would use the following metaphor. Ready? Right hand, I'm going to destroy MAGA. Left hand, I'm going to replace MAGA. 2 fists, 10 fingers. Ready? So with the right hand, which is you're destroying, you're talking about prosecuting MAGA. You're talking about abolishing ICE, APAC, abolishing APAC, and campaign finance reform, and a whole bunch of other shit. And then with the left hand, it's like things like Medicare for all, raising the minimum wage, strengthening unions, campaign. Oh, I just said campaign finance reform, but the products, right? The things that we're actually selling as ideas.
Yeah.
But in order to get to that moment of salesmanship, you need to demonstrate that you're going to beat the shit out of the conservatives. And to your point, Gavin, that's what he represents, is like the surefire win. Whoever introduced this word electability into the public lexicon ought to be crucified, because it's just like it's this narcissistic entitlement that Americans have about politics, where everyone's a fucking expert. It's like you have no idea who's more electable and who's not. Like, I thought you guys hated the polls. Half of the people I talk polls with, they hate the polls. They're like, oh, well, it's just a poll. And I'm like, well, when I see Gen Z flip 52 points on Trump, that's beyond the margin of error statistically. So, that
far.
means something. That means something. The Latinos, I think the biggest demographics that have swung on Trump are Gen Z and Latinos, because there wasn't much swing that needed to be had with millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my point is just to not underestimate the blue sky libs. Like, we're kind of in our left-wing bubble, but I mean, look what's about to happen potentially tonight in California. They're about to choose fucking Javier Becerra, the Gavin Newsom alum, or whatever you want to call him. The guy who fucking is obviously just an extension of Newsom's status quo. He's very likely going to win over Tom Steyer, who's actually promising a bold progressive vision. So it's like, I think that in some ways we have to look at that as a warning sign of what's to come.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's like we were actually discussing it before we joined, Gavin, but that's probably been my biggest frustration is I mean in this whole primary cycle so far is these politically disengaged liberals who are tried and true Democrats, the same kind of liberals that will eat up dopamine rushes from fucking David Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen, because it's just fucking junk food. It's like, oh, Trump's screwed now. Look what Trump did now. Trump embarrassed. Blah blah blah. It's just like fuck all the way. For these exact same types of liberals have nothing to look forward to once Trump is gone, because that's the end all be all.
Right.
And that's also these same type of Democrats are just so willing to be fed the next candidate, and that's exactly who uh, um, uh, Javier Becerra seems to be.
Yeah.
He's the next. It's like here's the guy because he has the most experience or whatever. Because he seems nice. Because he's actually he's got a charming smile. Tio Becerra. It's just, even though he's beholden to major corporations, he's taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from Chevron. He's buddy with PG&E. He flip flops on single payer healthcare. He it's clearly demonstrated that he's going to just deliver for corporations at the expense of the working class, and yet he still gets your vote. Like, you're voting against your own interest based on vibes, not on policy, not on campaign positions, but because the guy who's attacking him is just a little too mean.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of seeing Tom Steyer all the time. Therefore, I'm voting. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
It's
like, these people should not be allowed to fucking vote. I swear these people should have their right to vote just stripped. I swear to God, because that's how we get people like fucking Gavin Newsom in the first place. How the fuck are these people viable? Like,
Right.
Well,
Well,
it's
at least Gavin
consumer.
Newsom ran as a progressive. At least he was promising fucking progressive
Right.
shit, like Medicare for all or whatever the fuck his promise was.
Calcare.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
like at least he pretended to be progressive. Becerra's not even pretending to be
No.
progressive. And to Dieter's point about electability being just like a fucking stupid bullshit concept, it is. And the problem with it, and the reason why establishment Democrats love to fixate on it, is because they can just talk about that instead of having a policy debate, right?
Right.
It makes policy irrelevant. It makes your platform irrelevant if all you care about is electability and choosing the candidate that has the best chance in the general, which really means the candidate that they think will most appeal to independents and moderate Republicans and shit, right?
Yeah,
All of a sudden, it doesn't matter what AOC is running on versus Gavin Newsom or Becerra versus fucking
Right.
Tom Steyer, because it's just like, who's the most electable?
No, I swear to God, California voters in general are the most privileged fucking people in the entire country. The most privileged portion of the electorate nationwide. Because, like, here's the thing: a Republican is not going to fucking win the governor's seat. Like, period. That's not going to fucking happen. And so, they're so fucking CNN brained to where they think that, like, oh, MAGA and the Republicans are such a huge threat in California and whatnot. It's just like, this isn't this we're not talking about federal elections here. We're talking about the governor's race. We're talking about a statewide race, a statewide primary. Do you really fucking think Steve Hilton is going to come out on top? Like, no, like, it's going to come out to the top two polling Democrat candidates. If you truly think that Becerra is like the path forward for the fucking state, like, I just don't have any respect for you whatsoever. Like, I don't give a fuck if Steyer is a billionaire. I don't give a fuck if he is too mean in his attacks and whatnot. Maybe Becerra shouldn't be like a corrupt fucking prick.
Yeah.
He
Who's
shouldn't
taking
be,
money
he
from the
shouldn't be
billionaires?
yeah, he should. Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't be an empty vessel, just a blank slate to be put on a leash by the biggest corporations in the state and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, I do have my I mean, we all do. We have our like, our reluctance and hesitation when it comes to Steyer, because we're principled against billionaire, like the existence of billionaires in general. But, like, I try to convey to some of these just people who don't get it. It's like, oh, if you're a progressive, aren't you supposed to be against billionaires? Maybe some people change their minds. Maybe people are like, well, I was wrong about these things. I'm going to work my entire life to undo them. And, like, there's a history of that. There's evidence of that Tom Steyer has been working to undo his past. Yeah, I mean, he made his billions on shitty things, but at the very least, he worked to undo them. Beyond that, it comes down to your policies. It comes down to who you are fighting for. And Becerra's just in it for himself. Like, I have not heard a single thing from Becerra that indicates, like, oh, he's fighting for me. He's going to make my life better. No,
Yeah,
the fuck
but
he's not.
if you spent more than 15 minutes contrasting Steyer and Becerra, then you spent the average amount of time, probably more than the average amount of time that most voters spend thinking about who they're going to vote for governor.
That's exactly it, dude. It's so frustrating. It just makes all this feel so. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Worthless, fucking stupid.
I guess for lack of
Yeah.
a better term, like
I also have another
Disheartening.
question for you guys.
disheartening is a good one. Yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm
Gavin.
interested in your opinion on this one because I was genuinely like just flummoxed. I was completely, I could not make heads or tails of why Becerra was doing as well as he has done in this primary. Like I was just like, he seems like the most rizzless, fucking lame, uninteresting candidate of the whole lot. Like I think Katie Porter and Matt Mahan are more interesting, likable candidates in some
I
ways.
agree with that. Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, I kept asking, like, what is going on? Like, what is it about this guy? And then someone in our chat was like, it really basically comes down to the fact that he's a Latino guy, and
Yes.
California has a lot lot of Latino
That was
voters,
another
Yes.
thing.
and they've
too.
never had a
Yeah.
Latina governor.
That-
So do you really
yes.
think it's that simple?
Yes.
It is. I think it really it really
It
fucking
sucks to
is.
say, but it's
Yeah.
true.
Why can't Tom Steyer be a Mexican? Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, he's half a wasp. He's half Jew, half wasp. That's a mean combination, man. That's
Yeah,
a winning
no, of
combination.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it does come down to that. That's why I made the Tio Becerra remark earlier, because it really does come down to the fact that he's Latino, and we have a gigantic Latino population in California, and I think that's played into his appeal more than anything, which is just fucking goddamn unfortunate, because it really does come down to the fallacy of identity politics, like more than anything. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard Becerra say that he's going to prosecute ICE or anything like that. Tom Steyer has, though.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Also, Becerra was like the Health and Human Services.
Health and
under
Human
Biden?
Services.
For Biden,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you
And
think
he
that'll be a
fucked up
big
a bunch.
issue in the general if it's him and Hilton? I agree with what Stateless Patriot was saying, which is that there's no way the Republican actually wins. But do you think that it seems like that's kind of fertile ground for Hilton to attack Becerra, given how unpopular some of the, closing the restaurants and like the various COVID restrictions were in California? It just seems like kind of stupid to nominate a guy who you can directly tie those policies to in California, which was hit super hard by the pandemic. Do you think that that's going to become an issue?
I mean, that's definitely going to be a talking point by Hilton's team and whatnot when it comes to the campaign during the general. But to the extent that it makes enough of a difference to where it reduces Becerra's chances of winning, not really. Because ultimately, when the general election results come in for the governor's race, if it does come down to Becerra and Hilton, I still think Becerra is going to win with like maybe 56-58% of the vote,
Yeah.
something like that.
I agrage, because I mean, all the other Dems are going to have to endorse him at that point. Like,
No, of course.
they all promised to endorse the Democrat on the debate stage. So
Yeah, like because it's going to come down to those two, if those two advance after these primaries, and like ultimately, Becerra, the Democrat candidate will take the majority of the vote in California for damn sure.
It's sad,
I
man.
know.
It's sad
Yeah.
that our racial issues have been politicized in this way. They
Of
can't
course.
help but be they can't help but be politicized in some level, on some way. But the fact that they have been actively used to promote people who are simply going to do the bidding of the special interests that fund the party,
Yeah.
that's disgraceful. That's basically like the lefty version of the right using religion. The right uses religion, the left uses race, and that's fucked up.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
yeah, and I mean, it's not like I understand the perspective of like Latino voters wanting representation and government. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I totally understand people's desire for representation, but yeah, it is unfortunate that this Becerra guy just seems to be such a corporate stooge. And again, it's like, yeah, Tom Steyer is a billionaire, but who's funding Becerra? The billionaire,
Right.
So
Right. If it were close, if they were ideologically similar and they both backed single payer healthcare and shit like that, then the identity politics point wouldn't be as valid. But when I'm seeing if Becerra pulls this off and becomes, I mean, you know Chuck Rocha is, right, Gavin?
Oh yeah.
So he does a show with Mike Madrid called The Latino Vote that you should check out. I've been watching it because, I want to know that I want to understand the Latino vote as best as I can. But Chuck Rocha, who's from Texas, and Mike Madrid is based in Sacramento, like Chuck Rocha talks a lot about policy and stuff and issues that are specific to Latino communities in various parts of the country. Mike Madrid, when he was talking about this governor's race, literally all he was talking about is that if Becerra wins, then Latinos will be in charge of both houses of the state legislature and the governor's mansion. And that's literally the only point he made. And the only criticism he had of Steyer was that he was a billionaire. So, I mean, like, yeah, the sports problem, right? Where it's like, I'm on Team Latino and I'm going to vote with my Latino friends. And talk about people who are busy and have no time to fucking research politics. It's working class Latinos in California. Jesus Christ, they have no time on their hands. So my heart goes out to them, but they've been swindled. Yeah. They've been swindled. And this case is so egregious. That's the problem is the sheer difference in the two of their position platforms suggests to me that, there's retail politics, which is handshakes, which is tough to make work in California because it's so fucking big. And then there's media politics. And I think Steyer's done the best he could with what God gave him in terms of a personality and obviously what he earned for himself in his own personal wealth. But if he doesn't, he should be running away with this thing. And the fact that he's not is a testament to California ignorance.
He
could win.
We can't.
No. But I'm just, you're absolutely right. We should maintain hope. But it's just like the right side of the aisle always gets called ignorant for obvious reasons. They're the least educated, the least diverse, and so forth. But there is a lot of ignorance on the left, and we have to come to terms with that. We have to like be explicit about taking that shit down because, the people don't even know what the difference between neoliberalism and progressivism is.
Or neoliberalism and regular liberalism, for that matter.
Right. Yeah. Well, Bill, in my Bill Clinton essay that you should check out, I theorized that Bill Clinton killed liberalism. He transformed liberalism into neoliberalism and basically became the Democratic Party's Reagan.
100%. Yeah, one of my favorite books is Listen Liberal by, what's his face, Tom Frank or whatever. Yeah, that book really spells exactly that out. So 100% agree with that. But yeah, I am still holding out hope. I think that there is a chance these polls have been a little bit off. We've seen it before. And they've been really close too. It's not like all the polls have Tom Steyer way down.
Margin of error polls.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there is a chance that it is either Tom Steyer and Becerra or Tom Steyer and Steve Hilton. If it is Tom Steyer and Becerra and Steve Hilton doesn't even make the top two,
that'd be awesome.
It would be, but I do fear that all these other Democrats that are currently running
would rally
for Becerra and get like the California version of the Obama phone call and Gavin
Newsom. Good point.
Right.
I mean, everyone endorsed Becerra.
And that is actually a possibility too, because there are actually a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives who are still championing Chad Bianco, who's the other Republican that's up there in the polls and whatnot. Not nearly as high as the top three, but like you can see, like there's still like a lot of organic support for him out there. Right. So that might be an advantage. It might actually draw away from Hilton's support, but who knows? Another thing is, I mean, just to, I guess there maintain, I guess, some hope when it comes to Tom Steyer's chances. When I posted it earlier today on Instagram that I voted, I dropped off my ballot. I clicked the hashtag button and I typed in Javier Becerra's name, and it only showed there's only like 2,500 posts. But then when I put the hashtag for Tom Steyer's name, it was like 7,500, 8,000 posts. something like that. So there's more posts about Tom Steyer than there are on Instagram that actually have the hashtag on it. So
Right.
I mean that's just an anecdote.
Well,
But
he was
I
rumored
mean,
to be paying influencers. I don't know if he
there's
actually
something.
was.
I
Oh,
don't
no.
fucking know. I don't
He
know.
was real.
I don't care enough about.
I don't blame him, dude. If I was a billionaire running for office, I'd throw everything in the kitchen sink
Yes.
at it.
Yeah.
I was psyched to see some Hollywood stars step up. John Hamm stepped up and endorsed
Yeah, the Hulk.
Steyer.
What's his name? Mark Ruffalo?
My doppelganger, Mark Ruffalo, stepped up and endorsed Steyer, but he's great.
I think
Among others, I can't think
Rokana
of right
endorsed him
now.
too.
But yeah, it was just a little bit late. I was just a little bit late because the voting was started a few weeks ago. And
Yes,
so
that's
it's
the
like
thing,
those
too.
endorsements really needed to come in
No,
a few
yeah.
weeks prior to the ballots coming out.
Exactly. I don't even want to call him a liberal, but he's a dino, like a vote blue no matter who Zionist shill,
Blue MAGA?
like yeah, big time, just this big idiot, he's just a punching bag for me, honestly. But he fucking already cast his ballot like 3 weeks ago, and he is like unashamedly pro Becerra, because he's just mindlessly, fucking go or party go, that kind of shit. And that's the issue too. Is it's like if voting is not all done on the same day, and like you can just send in your ballot or drop off your ballot weeks in advance, then like those like the race can change drastically within a few
Yes.
weeks, like without a fucking doubt. So like people that have already cast their ballot, but it's like, oh, I changed my mind. Is it just too late at that point? Like that's why those endorsements coming as early as possible really fucking matter.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Nick, what's on your mind? You haven't talked in a while, bro. What's going on with you?
I was just going to jump in there because I often question that too because with campaigns, I think we all understand there's well, first off, all of our campaign lengths are way too long.
Yes.
It would be nice to have not be in constant election cycle mode, which it feels like we've been in for the past 10 years. I digress. But no, I mean, like as far as endorsements, the momentum of a campaign is going to make or break that campaign. And if you're waiting to the last minute, and especially in a situation where you have, so I guess you guys said 3 weeks early to do these mail-in ballots. Yeah, that's a lot of time early. A lot can happen in 3 weeks as we're seeing recently.
Yeah.
Do you think there was any outreach on the part of Tom Steyer to try to get like a Bernie or AOC endorsement? Because I was kind of hoping that Bernie would come in and like save the day.
Well,
do a rally.
Bernie did a little bit, and Our Revolution endorsed Tom Steyer.
That's what
that
I
was
was
about
about
a
to
month or
mention.
so back.
Yeah,
But after that, it was largely silent.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Our Revolution did, but like Bernie himself, it's not like he rallied with Steyer.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh, I thought he made a statement at least. Though.
He did say something. I think Bernie said that. I mean, I forget exactly what he said, but like it essentially rounded up to like, oh well, Tom Steyer is a billionaire, and I am fundamentally against billionaires. So
He discussed the optics of it and the irony of it. But that
Yes,
still went
that was-
forward and went, "This is the best guy in the race," and
Yeah.
back him.
right,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I get why Bernie didn't want to, just because of the fact that it like he is a billionaire. Bernie's whole shit is like being against billionaires, so it's kind of awkward. But still,
I could have
was
sworn that was an
Exactly.
actual video by Bernie. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
I think it was like he wanted to maintain a consistency in his principles. So like actually endorsing making an endorsement of a billionaire would have been like very much like if I was in his position, it would feel like the most awkward thing in the world. But
Totally.
his organization, Our Revolution, did endorse Steyer, I think, a month ago or something like that. So, and that's not the only major progressive endorsement that Tom Steyer has gotten either. You know, he's actually gotten a lot of pretty like decent endorsements from various progressive committees and organizations and whatnot.
Yeah, but he couldn't get the endorsement for the DSA, unfortunately. He
I
got
thought
a
they
lot
did
of.
put him in their
They got him.
endorsement
They
guide.
gave a lot of individual chapters gave him recommends, but the DSA is very proud of how hard it is to get their endorsement.
I I was a
It's
little
funny.
disappointed with them because at least two house races, Shaikat Chakrabarti in the 11th.
Yep.
Would have been nice to see him get a DSA endorsement. And
No idea why he didn't.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of
he's the
Shoykai-
main one in California. I'm thinking
Speaking of
somewhere else.
Shoykai, we got some wild tea spilled by Kyle Kalinske on the Vanguard today. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but he
I
was.
didn't get a
We
chance.
were chatting with him about the AOC not endorsing Shoykai, and
Very,
Kyle actually
very annoying.
revealed that back in the Justice Democrats era, it was actually Shoykai who was one of the people who led the charge to get Cenk Uygur kicked out of Justice Democrats.
Really?
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, which I did not. I was like not. I didn't even think about that, but apparently, yeah.
Now was it
Shoykai-
because did he just know that Jank was going to make a right wing grifter turn later in life?
No,
Did he just know?
You like
or-
10 years in advance.
Yeah, I mean,
That-
in
that
that
I defend him,
sense,
but-
it's actually aged pretty well from Shoykot. But at the time, I do remember thinking that, like, seriously, like, you're just gonna boot this guy because of his like resurfaced fucking blog posts where he was like making sexist jokes in like 1998 or some shit. Like, that was crazy to me at the time, and obviously Kyle thought so too. He resigned alongside Jank in solidarity with Jank. But yeah, apparently Shoykot was behind the scenes being like, yeah, get this guy fucking out of here. Like, this is bigger than him. We shouldn't be associated with this, which is wild. I didn't think Shoykot was that kind of guy, like super into the whole, like, oh, these old tweets or old blog posts. So I thought that was pretty crazy.
So
Now,
yeah,
if I could
there
jump
must be
in.
like there must be like bad blood like lingering from that, or like there's just like not enough good vibes there between him and the and AOC, for example. So like,
Yeah.
no wonder.
And apparently, according to Kyle, at least, AOC did not care about Jank's post. Like, she was not one of these people that was trying to get him ousted for that. She was just like,
Right,
He didn't
because
really
she
have a
kind of
position.
she kind of owes Kyle and Cenk her career, sort of, because he was a Justice Democrat.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of forget that.
Yep, I know.
And,
it's
something
pretty
I want to
wild.
ask to all you guys here. It's because we talk about the left, how it's divided, we eat ourselves, etc. Like, how are we going to have a unified base to actually take on the Democratic Party, actually have a Tea Party, when we're constantly doing the circular firing squad? And like, because Shoykot, was part of Brand New Congress, built up that organization. Justice Democrats worked to get so many of the squad into office, AOC, Ilhan Omar, etc. And that's what we need to defeat this Democratic Party, is an actual coalition of organizations. So Justice Democrats, Our Revolution, Working Families Parties, the DSA. There should be more communication and solidarity among these groups, because you go down the list for policies, there's very little disagreement, if any. But yet, so often we're seeing infighting or dual or conflicting endorsements. Two progressives or more running in the same race. You got one that's
splitting the
Working
vote,
Families Party, the other's Our Revolution, and then the centrist incumbent will win. And,
I
and
mean,
what the
that
fuck are we
really
doing
is
here?
the $1 billion question for the past century. Really has been, why can't the left just get along? Why can't we just be unified in solidarity? Excuse me, unified in solidarity behind one another, because we are like generally 95% in agreement with everything. Like take away like interference from like intelligence agencies or governments of the past, or bad actors or moneyed interests, what have you. It's just hard to get like leftists in general to be like 100% in sync on everything. It's all purity testing. It's all one upping one another. It's that really is the $1 billion question. Why can't we get along? It's just like,
I think it's
if you can
Not
figure
even
it
get
out,
along, just at least put aside the petty bullshit to advance
Oh, I know.
leftist causes.
Yes.
But I'm asking
Well,
for too much, clearly.
because opportunism gets in the way as well. That's another big factor too.
I think it has to do with. Well, Gavin, you go ahead. You answer first if you have thoughts on this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in a sense, I think it's something that separates us from the cult-like mentality of the Republican Party. So, in a sense, I kind of appreciate the fact that we're willing to scrap and fight and have these like intense debates, which usually are, for the most part, around substantive issues. Like, I mean, sometimes, yeah, it gets lost in the identity politics or whatever the fuck shit. But it is often the case that, I mean, even with the Tom Steyer thing, like most hardcore left wingers that oppose him, it is based on the substance of his status as a billionaire. It's not just like, oh, he's a white man or something. So, I do think that there is often a lot of substance to these debates, and I appreciate that about the left. Again, we're not just a cult, but yeah, I do agree. It is unfortunate. It holds the left back, and that's actually one of the reasons why I feel like some people on the left are underrating AOC. And I don't know, Dieter might disagree with me here. You have a slightly different take here, but I actually do think that one of her powers is the ability, when the dust settles, to kind of unite some of these groups we're talking about. Like, I think she will have the DSA on her side. I think she will have the Working Families Party on her side. I think she will get the Our Revolution endorsement. I think she'll get the Bernie endorsement, right? Like, despite how much online nitpicking goes on, I do think she's done a pretty good job of like marshaling the left wing organizing space behind her, and she just got the DSA endorsement with like almost unanimous. The people
a national level or the local New York.
I think it was the local New York DSA.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was censured.
Yep, she briefly had some issues with them, but she got him back on her side by
Well,
promising to not vote for the fucking stupid Iron Dome again. And then they basically unanimously agreed to endorse and support her. So again, not that I think she's perfect or anything, but I do think that at her best, and when she's, if she runs, she could represent like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren together, like coming together into one.
Sure.
force.
Not only that, not only basically everything you just said, but also her ability to play nice with the party, because ultimately if she does want to go anywhere,
Right.
and get anywhere, she has to be in the good graces
Yes.
of the
Well,
establishment, which
that's why I'm
really
saying
sucks.
that's what I mean
have a
when I
slight
say-
disagreement there.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you're obviously going to piss off a lot of lefties by doing so, but that's just kind of just the nature of the Democratic Party, unfortunately.
But what has she gained from the establishment by playing nice? That's my only.
Well, I think the point that's
wondering. I mean, there's probably stuff behind the scenes that, of course,
That's
I'm
what-
not
that's
aware
what-
of.
for the most
However, there's definitely some tactical decisions she could be better on. I'm not saying
no,
abandon her, but
I agree with both of you, but I think Stateless Patriot's point is that what she gains is that they're not going to try as hard to fuck her over when she's running for president.
Bingo.
Or when she actually is president, hopefully. Like, you think about what they did to Bernie and how they just fucking obviously rigged it against him. That's what I mean by AOC being kind of the unification of Bernie and Warren. Like, she has Bernie's policies for the most part, but she also has, I think she's more of a Warren in the sense that she does have more relationship with the party. And in fact, I think that she probably made a deal with Chuck Schumer. Like, people keep saying she's maybe going to challenge Chuck Schumer. I say bullshit. I think she made a deal with Chuck Schumer. She's going to let him have his last term in the Senate, and in return, he's going to do his part to make sure that she's not totally fucked over by the power players.
That's what I think too.
You know what I'm saying?
Because ultimately, like when it came down to it, it made the most sense. That would be like the most logical stepping stone. And me and Dieter agreed on this for the longest time, that she should ultimately take Chuck Schumer's seats, because he's fucking awful. He's fucking horrible. He needs to go. And that's just like a stepping stone for her to eventually make her way up to the presidency.
But I think that she can do that even if she loses say she runs in this election, she's still the obvious favorite to win that Senate seat in 6 more years. Like, she'll just be a congresswoman for 3 more terms and then take out Chuck Schumer. And even if she did take out Chuck Schumer in this upcoming election, it's not like she would become the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. They would just find some Hakeem Jeffries kind of guy to replace Schumer, and then AOC would just be another senator. So it's not like she would become the leader.
No, exactly, yeah. But the thing is, recently, me and Dieter have kind of come to this conclusion. I think I'm still in the process of convincing him, but I fully believe that AOC is going to run for president in 2028 at this point.
She is,
like,
bro.
I think there's no doubt at this point.
She is.
And like comparing, between her and Bernie, and the establishment's reaction to both of them. Obviously, Bernie has had a gigantic long career, but he was always very much unashamedly socialist,
independent.
Yes, and independent. That's another thing too. He was never like an actual. Well, he was he was a Democrat. He wasn't a Democrat for the longest time. He was an actual independent, and that's kind of that was one of the factors that turned off the establishment to him so hard. But on top of that, it was the fact that he dared run against Hillary Clinton
Mhm.
in 2016,
Right.
and that's what got him a lot of the fuller
Ire.
ire of the
Totally.
Democratic establishment. Whereas with AOC, we have seen her entire career from the beginning. Like she was just elected into Congress 8 years ago, so we've seen her go from just a rookie and just make her way up, getting the good graces of everybody. And we've seen her make her mistakes. We've seen her evolve over time, refine her craft. Because for a while, she wasn't exactly the most toned and precise, and I guess talented, for lack of a better term. But lately, it just seems like she is a lot more refined, and I think that's going to play into her to her advantage come the general election for 2028 if she decides to run.
She also has the progressive lane all to herself. Like,
Exactly.
I wish
Yes.
that wasn't the case, but it really is kind of the case that from her perspective, you're looking at this field and the only progressive competition you have is fucking Ro Khanna, who most people don't even know who that is. Like, obviously,
Right,
you're going to want to take that.
And I don't think he's going to run if she's going to run. Like
I think he is going. I actually know that he's going to run. I have
Really?
I've heard that, yeah, from people that I trust that like it's happening. Ro Khanna is running for president no matter what. But
Oh, well,
I don't
shit.
think he would take AOC out as far as the progressive option goes.
Yeah, like because when it comes down to it, like you said, because just like what's happening right now, we don't want the same mistakes to be happening again. We don't want the progressive vote to split again.
Right.
The same thing happened with in 2020 between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and the same thing's happening right now with Katie Porter and Tom Steyer, and same happened before in the California Senate race recently, where Adam Schiff ended up winning because Porter split the vote between her and Barbara Lee. This same shit can't be happening. Can't
Here's
keep
my
happening.
my only pushback to that is that I think that again, Ro Khanna he's not big enough to be a threat to AOC like Warren was to Bernie.
I would agree with that.
And I think that he can serve as a progressive attack dog who's willing to say some of the stuff that AOC won't want to. Like, for example, he recently said that if you voted for the Lincoln Riley Act, that's disqualifying. You can't call yourself a progressive or a Democrat if you made that vote. Obviously, taking a shot at a guy like John Ossoff. I don't know if AOC would have the balls to say that, right? I think she likes to be polite with her colleagues, but Ro Khanna doesn't give a fuck. So again, I don't think he's a serious threat to AOC, but I do like the fact that there will be one more progressive on that debate stage who's who's not afraid to get the knife out and just totally attack some of the competition in a way that AOC might not.
Playing the role of attack dog actually sounds like a very, very genius move on his end. That actually sounds very, very interesting. And not to mention, he will, like, if he's willing to say things that AOC won't, he's still going to be, when it comes to the debate stage and just the race in general, he's going to keep on pulling that Overton window back to the left. Whereas the Democrats have been way too far to the right recently, which is a big reason why Kamala lost.
Yeah. Also, shout out to you, Garrett.
chat.
Thanks for the nice comment. I also saw a few other people like BCat OG in chat. Shout out to all you Vanguardians. Pinkerbell, what's up?
Oh yeah.
Let me weigh in. Let me weigh on a. The issue is Khanna is to the right of AOC. I don't know about that.
I don't know about it either.
On what?
Maybe I don't know what their positions really differ on. The only thing, like you were talking about, is the history, the baggage, who has more baggage, and Rose got a little bit of baggage with the Marjorie Taylor Greene relationship. Here's a couple things. Look, I've kind of like compartmentalized my AOC feelings because she means so much to so many leftists. So she's gonna do what she wants. I'm not gonna fault her if she goes for president. I would just make two observations. One is that there's only been one president that ever came straight from the House of Reps to the White House. That was James Garfield back in the 80s or something.
The only one.
Only one. Only
Damn,
one president.
I didn't even know that.
Only one president has ever come from the House of Representatives. So that's something to think about. The other thing is that it's just a basic instinctual talent evaluation from me. I think she would do better as a creature of Capitol Hill. She's already got a ton of experience. She has grown, as we have all acknowledged. She has grown tremendously. And I think I would rather see her focus like a laser beam on Capitol Hill for the next however many cycles she wants to be a senator for, and never run for president and be like the progressive Chuck Schumer, Nancy in this. Yeah, it'd be Chuck Schumer if she did the Senate, but like be there for a while and actually be like at the head, be something of a policy wonk maybe.
So then who would you say
with
should run
domestic
for
policy.
president if you don't ever like I don't think AOC is perfect, but I do think it's fair to say that like out of the options, she has the most name recognition, star
Sure.
power, fundraising ability to get a crowd hyped up. Like she does have a lot of that. Like I just don't see anyone else. Do you have another name in mind of someone you think could like fill that space?
Not to the extent that we would all like. I mean, she has there's and actually she falls short a little bit on the shit talking, kind of like what you guys were saying. Is she leads with kindness a little bit too much, and isn't ready to kind of smack somebody across the face and make a point and say no, this actually sucks or this was stupid. But that's the Obama syndrome, where you're worried more about getting people to like you as opposed to getting people to respect you. Working backwards from the available like chess pieces, yeah, I understand why you're on AOC, and she probably is the best one. I like Ro Khanna, like on that for the same reasons in terms of positioning. I think he's older, he's more experienced, so there's that difference.
He's also
but
a
then-
congressman though, so that
Yeah,
violates
exactly.
the
So that applies exactly. He's the same
This
challenge is in front of him as well.
this was this was the back and forth for a while, and like me and Dieter even talked over the phone about this, like just like the pros and cons in general about it, because like if AOC was to just stay in the House or go for the Senate, it's like what other like big name progressive who is actually like a tried and true progressive, and we can actually count on them to be a progressive
Would run that year.
would run for president. Like we just
One
couldn't think
name
of
I could
anybody.
throw out there, but again, I don't know how much general support she would have, is Nina Turner, state senator
Well, actually,
from Ohio.
to be honest, I've heard that she also is planning on running for president. So
No
that's-
shit.
there's
She might have a
little
supporter out
bombshell
of me
for you
then.
guys. I haven't even said
Okay.
that, but I won't say who my source is, but I do have someone who told me that knows Nina Turner that told me that Nina Turner wants to run for president. Which I
Fantastic.
like Nina Turner, but it does seem like a total suicide mission. If
A little bit of a reach.
If AOC is
Little bit of
there,
reach.
then
Yeah,
she's
like-
not going to have the name recognition that AOC has,
Yeah.
and again, that
No,
name's taken by
yeah.
her. Ju-
and
just
she
real
lost
quick,
two
I just want to throw
congressional
out
races in a row, so it's like
No, yeah.
with
exactly.
AOC, my biggest the biggest thing with her, I just wanted to throw out there before
Sure.
moving on from AOC. It's just what disappoints me most is her failure to recognize how she got into Congress, overthrowing number 3 Democratic Joe Crowley, like number 3 fundraiser in line for Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House.
Mhm.
He was defeated in the primary by Nancy Pelosi. Now he still ran on the Working Families Party ticket and only got like, I don't know, less than 20% of the vote. AOC got 75% of the vote in the general election in 2018. And to overcome an incumbent like that, at least in modern history, I don't know if we have another example that's comparable to it. But what frustrates me is that she seems to have forgotten her origin and how she got into Congress, and needs to. I understand wanting to play nice and that balance there, but at the same time, if you're going to be taking the role that Bernie Sanders has handed you as the leader of the progressive movement, you got to show some leadership skills. You got to act on leadership and start saying, no, we're not going to allow the same Democratic establishment to keep winning re-election. We're going
I
to
agree with
challenge
that.
Hakeem Jeffries in the 8th district. We're going to
I
challenge up and down the ballot on every district.
That's
totally
actually a great point, because like she wouldn't have gotten to where she was today if she didn't challenge that exact establishment. I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, no, I wish she acted more like that. Don't get me wrong. AOC is not like my perfect, manifestation of progressive politics or whatever. I just think that out of the options, she's the most viable. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been making that complaint about AOC basically.
It's all
ever
about
since-
tactics.
Ever
Politics
Yes.
since
there,
the
it's just
election.
tactics.
Exactly. It really is striking a balance, because like I mean, people are going to dislike you for one thing or another. That's just part of being a politician. But being like talented enough to strike that balance, it can go a long way. Look no further than Zoran Mamdani. That guy
Totally.
continues to impress me day after day. It's just like, why can't every single motherfucking politician be exactly like this guy?
And why can't he run for
He's a
president?
rarity.
Yeah, like just run for president, right? Like that thing that he did recently, because of the New York Knicks playoffs and whatnot, where he had just had a bunch of kids around so he can sign an executive order, basically abolishing bedtime. That was
Yeah.
the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like that's so wholesome. Why can't more politicians be like that?
Yeah, no,
That's
he's
just like one
Because
thing.
they're not
He is-
creative. Because creative people
Yes.
don't end up in politics. I mean,
Exactly.
creative people end up doing like theater, film, and other shit, and they don't want to deal with conflict. And he's actually like, I mean, his mother's a cinematographer, so that's where he gets his creativity from.
Right.
not just cinematographer, a director.
Oh.
I thought she was just a cinematographer. No,
No, she directed Mississippi Masala. She's made several really highly regarded films.
yeah, I didn't know she was a full-on director. I thought she was
Yep.
just a cinematographer. That's cool.
Nope.
Well, that makes it even better. So she knows story even better.
Yup.
Yeah, and so that's why he comes up with things like Municipal Grin and like the videos that he's making. And it's something that I've been calling on people to do more of. And I don't know if you guys pay attention to these congressional campaigns, but I am shocked, Gavin, I was saying this before you got here, I think, that more candidates don't make the use of video. Like you go onto these websites for these candidates and it's all text about like their positions. Or there's like endorsements, like get to know the candidate. Oh, here's me with my wife and 2 kids and 3 dogs, and it's like nobody gives a shit, you know. Where's the video? The video is like the next best thing to talking to someone in person. So why are they not utilizing that tool? I don't get it.
I mean, for some of them, it's because they don't have the riz that like Zoran does. Like he is uniquely telegenic. He's so fucking good on camera. I mean, I don't know if it would really even help a guy like fucking Becerra to put out a bunch of Zoran style videos where he's like talking to taco truck owners or something. It might just, it might just put a magnifying glass on how fucking rizless he is. But either way, I do agree with you for the most part. And I think that was one of Zoran's real achievements, was understanding the internet, understanding how to make videos that will go viral and get attention and be fun and wholesome and also substantive. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And that's what good candidates are replicating. Abdullah Sayad in Michigan.
Yeah.
He's kind of having a good balance where
Totally.
he's out on the streets talking with his community, but also a great social media campaign. And in the modern era, you need to have both. You can't just do one or the other. I mean, look, if you're an establishment back candidate, then yeah, you can hide and you can buy your way into most elections still, but that's hopefully what we can change.
Yep.
Yeah, and folks, they're not just like they're not heavily coached.
God damn it!
and-
Do I keep going in and out?
No,
No.
like I
You're
did
okay
notice
for
that
me.
you were turning off your mic here. And
No,
there,
it just
but-
it keeps disconnecting on me intermittently. That's all. It's just driving me a little
Oh,
nuts.
I was wondering about that.
All right,
but
so
yeah,
polls closed, by the way.
oh yeah, let's check it out. Like fuck it, let's get into it.
Well, there's nothing to
Tom
report.
Steyer already
I
won.
mean,
It was so overwhelming.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
he's already
say.
been declared the winner.
Oh, no.
Steve Hilton is in first place.
Ooh.
I was just going to say,
Steve
so
Hilton.
so what happens if it's, someone who's in like 40th place? Do we think they're going to win? Anyone coming out of nowhere?
Any of the
Yeah,
Where?
dark
are we-
horses?
Are you going to get Barack D. Obama Shah? That was an actual name of some candidate that was running for
Yeah.
governor. I
That's
I
on
saw
the
him on
ballot?
the thing.
Let's
Yeah.
hear. Let's
On the ballot.
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
living
Like a
for
fake
God
name.
and
Like-
country
Living for
to
God and
mod.
country was another one too. I think.
Yep, they're an independent though.
Oh, they might have a shot. Who knows?
The American people do love their independence.
So I want to be sensitive to Gavin's time because he's on, well, both of you guys' time because you're on the East and Central time zones. But we can wind down soon. There's nothing to report in terms of results here in California, and there probably won't be for another hour or two. So we don't need to hang around and bullshit, act as if we're going to get results tonight because we're not going to. But
Right.
this has been a great conversation. I think I'm glad we got a chance to talk about AOC, Gavin, because you and Zach have been pulling me towards her, and I'm down for her to take a crack at it. I mean, let's fucking go. Let's take a swing at the White House in 2 years. It's also something I'm trying actively not to think about is 2028 because 2026 is still taking up so much real estate in my head, and I want to stay focused on that. And like, so much shit is going to happen between now and 2028. Like, so much shit has already happened in, Trump's first 18 months or whatever it's been, 15 months.
I mean, who knows if we have a society a year from now at this fucking rate?
No kidding.
I'd like to be more positive, but sorry.
No, I hear you. And I probably am gonna have to get out of here, guys. I'm, like I said, pretty tired, but it was great to chat. And
of course.
thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin, good to see you, buddy.
Talking.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, dude. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Yeah, you guys.
All right, sweet.
Surprise.
Yeah, that was a nice little surprise, right? Yeah, I thought you'd be. Well, he wasn't necessarily going to come on. He didn't know if he was going to come on or not. So I just sent him the link, and I was like, "Hey, man, if you can make it, great." So it worked out really well. But yeah, I'm down to wrap it up. I mean, we're not going to get results tonight, but why don't you? Do you guys have any other topics you want to cover, or do you just kind of want to do final thoughts?
I just got a quick few things I could throw out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
So I mean, some
Fire
other
away.
races that are out there. Montana
Yep.
doesn't look like any. None of the House districts were called, but again, those are both going to be difficult races to flip.
No, of course.
And
Montana.
at least the ones that I was looking at for the House, none of them are leading. So probably not looking good there. And for the Senate race, it hasn't been called yet. Half of the votes are in. I was supporting a candidate in Montana for the U.S. Senate by the name of Michael Blackwolf. Great progressive policy. Was hoping he would get there, but right now he's only got 12% of the vote in, so that's not looking too likely. Iowa had a Senate race between two people, Josh Turek and Zach Walls, both kind of liberal types. Josh Turek won his primary, 62% to 37 for Zach Walls with 86.5 points, 86.5 votes in, percent of votes in. Jeez, getting too tired as well. But yeah, so yeah, the biggest win tonight was in New Jersey with Adam Hamaway, hands down.
Good.
He was a Justice Democrat, our revolution back. So happy to see that win, and when those California results come in, hopefully there's
some results coming in now.
Oh, yeah.
That I'll share with you guys here. It's only 4%, 6.2% in, and Steve Hilton is in the lead.
Oh, no.
Followed by Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer. I don't know where these votes are coming from.
The
They're
double
coming
Republican.
This is where they're coming from.
Okay.
This is Tech Valley. This is Tech Valley right here. So no surprise there. This is San Jose area.
Yeah,
But-
and then it looks like El Dorado.
Tom Steyer's going to
County-
get a big bump from Northern California. He should get a big bump as Northern California fills in.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, man.
I'll keep my eye on that as the night progresses.
Well, thank you, Nick, for joining us tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And
Thank you for having me.
That was
Of
a great
course.
show. I'm glad you got to hang with Gavin. Have you ever met him before? Have you worked together with him?
No, I haven't been out long in the circuit, but
Okay.
yeah, I've watched a good amount of the Vanguard. As much as I mean, there's a lot of good channels out there, and not enough time, especially when
I know,
I'm
right?
working
There's not
on
enough
this,
time to watch
primary
all the good
project.
stuff. And then you got to rate. You got to watch because you got to watch the enemies too. You got to watch the conservative stuff every now and then. You got to watch the neoliberal stuff every now and then, so you have something to respond to. So, but yeah, the Vanguard guys do a great job covering, especially all of the bullshit for TYT, because there you go with an institution that has just completely left the progressive left values. Like it just completely seems to have abandoned them.
Past few years have been disappointing.
Yeah,
That whole
Yeah.
rightward trajectory is going to be the
Just
the
an
home,
effort to
home
get
base of the
views.
left. But, mhm.
just to get an audience.
Yeah.
It was all just audience driven. It wasn't driven by ideology or practical politics or anything. So anyway, it's those guys do good work. It's always good to get on a collab with them. But Nick, we'll have you back soon, and
fantastic.
we really appreciate you joining us. And Stapat, any final thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it. Fingers crossed
All right.
for Steyer.
Fingers crossed
Here's
for
hoping.
Steyer, and For all of those of you who have heard me say it 1,000 times, I'll say it again tonight. You don't get change in America by asking nicely. So stop
Good night,
asking
y'all.
nicely. See you guys.